been this pressure narrative centered around the Lakers, right? We're seeing a lot of reports, a lot of conversations about how much pressure is actually on the Lakers. And I dove into the overall pressure that the Lakers have. I don't think it's any more than what it usually is, right? Every year there's pressure on the Lakers because it's the Lakers, right? It's championship or bust. We're not one of these organizations that are just happy to be in the NBA or just looking to make a dollar or whatever. Yes, it's a business. Yes, the Lakers and Jeannie Buss and them want to make money and, have this operate and stay afloat. But as far as the product on the basketball court, if we're not winning championships or competing for championships, what's the point, right? Like, that's the standard the Lakers have set. And that's why we are trying this year to compete for number 18 and be the winningest franchise in NBA history. Right now, it's a tie between us and the Celtics, and both teams have a real shot at winning it this year. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if the Lakers and the Celtics end up meeting in the NBA Finals to break that tie, which would be a fantastic storyline. Bring that on. I'm all for it. But the Lakers as a whole, again, don't think that there is much pressure, but I do think that there is a level of pressure on individuals and specifically the head coach, right? Darvin Ham. Now, I've been a huge defender of Darvin Ham. A lot of people seem to feel a type of way about Darvin Ham, but given the circumstances last year, he did a fantastic job. The guy was given basically scraps to stay afloat and keep afloat with in his first year of trying to just implement his establishment as an NBA head coach, and then gets thrown this entirely new roster that plays 8 games together going into the NBA playoffs, fully healthy. And he was able to help lead that team to an NBA Western Conference Finals, right? Would have been nice if we would have completed it, won the NBA championship, but hey, it is what it is. The fact that he was even able to get us there with all that was just going on in the disaster that the Lakers were last season is a huge testament to the level of coach that he is, right? Getting all these people to buy in, getting these guys that were new and came in up to speed, trusting his guys and, implementing things, making adjustments and changes on the fly. He did a really good job, right? That Memphis series, that Warriors series, that Denver series, nobody showed up. What was he supposed to do, right? Was he supposed to, throw out Troy Brown, Lonnie Walker, and Mo Bamba was injured the whole time, so we lacked size. Was he supposed to just throw out Malik Beasley and hope that he starts turning it on? Nobody really showed up, right? D'Lo didn't show up. LeBron had that one game where he just tried to take over and not get swept. But outside of that, he could have been better. AD could have been better. Austin Reeves was the only one that really stepped up and really thrived. But outside of that, he outcoached Steve Kerr. He was making incredible adjustments and changes in that Memphis series and that Warriors series, injecting guys like Lonnie Walker at the perfect time, right when we need them. That's coaching, right? And it can't go only one way, right? It's when the Lakers lose, it's Darvin Ham's fault. It has nothing to do with the players, right? It's only Darvin Ham's fault. But when the Lakers win, it had nothing to do with Darvin Ham. So what is it? Right? If we're going to criticize Darvin Ham for every Laker loss, fine. Then we need to praise him for every Laker win. Because you can't have it only one way. It has to go both ways, right? You can't have great coaching when you win and just bad coaching when you lose, just like you can't have vice versa, right? Games aren't won on individual plays or moments, things like that. It is a sequence. It's guys not showing up or, guys not performing to the level. Jason Kidd, I think, has the best, just speech about this where he said, I'm the head coach. I'm not the savior, right? I'm not out there being on the court delivering. I could have my guys the best prepared. I could have all of the best plays, the best everything. And if those guys don't show up, execute, and deliver, then it means nothing, right? You could be the best coach in the world. Doesn't matter. If your guys aren't doing what is necessary and they're not following through on their end, they're the ones that are on the court playing. They're the ones that need to deliver, right? But that doesn't mean you can't have some level of accountability for the coach, right? Darvin Ham absolutely had his blunders, right? He had his mistakes, right? Timeouts, certain lineup, getting guys out sooner, which, I do understand the idea of you want to stick with these guys, right? D'Lo. Should he have made the change to swap out D'Lo early on? Probably, but you don't want, the guy's already down on his confidence. The guy is already struggling. Like, the last thing you want is to just basically make him feel even worse, and nobody else is stepping up, right? It would have been one thing if, like, when Lonnie got in, he was killing it, and it's like, all right, we're just going to move Reeves to the point and Lonnie at the 2 because we need to get something going. No one else was stepping up. No one else was doing their part, right? But this year, it's a new year. You got a fresh roster. You got depth. You got versatility. You got size. You got athleticism. You got youth. You got everything you need to have success and be one of the better teams in the league, right? Now, I don't think Lakers are going to care about seeding as much as, like, say, a team like Sacramento, right? Like, Sacramento, they were, 3 seed last year. I could see them really trying to make a push for that 1 seed, right? And just trying to establish themselves and show, because are they going to win an NBA championship? Probably not, but that would give them the best course to potentially win one, and they're a young team with a lot to prove, right? A team like the Lakers, yes, they're a young team, but their main guys, LeBron James and Anthony Davis, are older, and they just want to be healthy, right? If LeBron and AD are healthy going into the playoffs with this roster, good luck beating this Lakers team. But we're going to need to see the improvements. We're going to need to see a little more stability on Darvin Ham's end going into this season. Is there a level of pressure on Darvin Ham? I think so. I don't think it's this, like, his job is on the line or anything like that. I mean, if Lakers started 2-10 again this year, then maybe. But, I think more likely it's just we need to see the improvement. There's the pressure of him being a bit more established, being a bit more controlled, having a little more impact on the game, right? Like, and look, there are a lot of coaches that are considered great, like historically great, that haven't really done very much, right? And Darvin Ham has done more than what a lot of coaches in this league did in his first year. Again, like, take a team like the Clippers. The Lakers started the season 2-10, had a 0.02% chance of just making the play-in and playoffs, and he led that team to the Western Conference Finals. The Clippers, their best season in history was them making it to the Western Conference Finals. A team like Memphis, same thing, right? Like, you look at this, and it's like, as bad as it was, Darvin Ham was still the guy at the helm, the guy with the clipboard that was putting everything together, getting all these guys focused, locked in, and they were able to get to the point where they were able to get to the Western Conference Finals. Now, again, it's championship or bust, right? There are no consolation prizes. We need to get back to winning an NBA championship. And I do believe Darvin Ham is a coach that is capable of that. He comes from a very good coaching tree. He has a very good basketball IQ. He's got a very good understanding and grasp of the game. There's going to be some experimentation just because it's a new roster and there is so much depth on this, right? You've already heard a lot of the reports about, Jackson Hayes starting alongside Anthony Davis, right? Are they going to start Gabe Vincent? Like, all of those things. My guess is that early on in the season, Darvin Ham does experiment with some of that. What does a unit of, like, just the young guys look like? What does a unit of, like, 1 through 5, basically just all 6'8" guys with LeBron at the point? What does it look like, with Gabe Vincent in the starting lineup? What does it look like with Rui in the start? What does it look like with Reddish in the start? Like, there will be, I think, a lot of experimentation because you want to find out what are the best units, what are the best players on a consistency basis, which guys can you count on, which guys can you rely on, so that way in the back half of the season, when teams start buckling down, start getting ready to fight for playoff seeding, start, getting ready to make that push to get into the playoffs, get your lineup and your plays and everything, your rotation all locked up and ready to go, that is when I think you'll see, like, okay, these are the 10 guys that are constantly playing game in and game out. Everyone else is just there in case, next man up, right, type thing. But I do like this roster. And I do think that there is a level of, like, hey, man, we need you to get this done, right? Like, Rob Pelinka, he did his part. He kept all the core guys, which is good because they already have a built-in chemistry. It's not to the level of like a Denver or something like that, or, the Warriors, like some of these teams that have been together for several seasons, but there is some level of continuity, there is some level of stability, there is some level of chemistry that Darvin Ham is going to have, and he has all those things with these players, right? So now he gets a full training camp, full offseason, full preseason, full regular season with these guys to get them focused, locked in, ready to go. So when we get to the playoffs, we can start pushing for number 18. So is there a level of pressure on Darvin Ham? Absolutely. But again, I don't think it's to the point of like, you're going to lose your job, right? Like, I don't think he's on the hot seat as far as coaching goes. But I do think that there is that like, hey, your rookie season's over, dude. It's time to show us that you're in control and that you can lead us to the promised land. You got the roster to do it. LeBron is only getting older, right? Like, we only have so much more of LeBron, and you may or may not get another star when LeBron leaves. It may take some time. We'll see. But regardless, it's time for you to start leading the charge. That I can understand. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think that there is a level of pressure on LeBron James or on Darvin Ham to deliver for LeBron James? I should put, do you think that there is pressure on him to just really show those improvements and show those jumps and leaps from year 1 to year 2? Like the Austin Reeves, right? Like where he goes from just like another guy, like, hey, he has a lot of promise, he has a lot of potential, to like, oh no, here he is. Do we need a Darvin Ham, Austin Reeves jump where it's like, okay, he is clearly one of the best coaches in the league? And look, people are still going to criticize him. Fan base is still going to criticize him. I mean, people were trying to run Phil Jackson out of town and criticize Phil Jackson and acted like Phil Jackson didn't know what he's doing. The guy is one of the winningest coaches in history of sports, right? Like, I think he knows what he's doing, right? So I get that, there's a fair amount of people that are just, they're going to criticize Darvin Ham no matter what. Even if he is far and away the best coach in the league in this year, like, it doesn't matter. People are still going to criticize him when they lose. People criticize Steve Kerr. People criticize Eric Spoelstra. All of that, right? So I do understand that. But I do think that there is a level of like, all right, we got to get this done, right? But again, how do you feel? Love your thoughts and opinions. However it is, down in the comments.